Hey guys, so we're back with another episode of Taco Imposters. I'm trying the 360 camera again because I'm going to try and use it on my computer this time because my phone, forget it, it takes like 3 days to, literally 3 days to convert the video. Well, because I'm using it on 180 mode, right? So it takes forever, it takes like 3 days to like convert one for like a day and a half. I was like, convert everything for a day and a half and then put it all into the process and then into the video, like the video editor, and which is KindMaster. And then I take it and I export that, and it takes like literally like 4 hours, 5 hours, or maybe like 2 hours to export, 2-3 hours. Oh my god, it's bad. But anyway, that's at least what happened here. And if I look down here, it's because the phone's here, and I want to make sure that the phone and the thing are still communicating so I can see everything. But yes, so if you've seen on my social media, which is Instagram, which I don't post in the description because it's a kind of different place. I find YouTube and Instagram are supposed to be like different, like separate, but I feel like anyway, where are they going with that? Oh yeah, I feel like they're different things. Sorry, and they're not connected, but it's Vulture54 if you want to look me up on Instagram. I've been doing a lot of time lapse with this camera. I don't hate it. I don't think it's the greatest 360 camera. Or even camera for... Oh, it's raining now. Even camera... I don't know if you can hear the rain, but... You probably hear my window out there. Like, wiping out the window, because if you look right here, my air conditioner's in. And so, because my air conditioner's in, that's just a piece of plexiglass right there. Plexiglass right there, and so it's really not thick enough. There's holes and match... Well, anyway. But, I don't think it's the greatest camera, but I think it's a pretty good camera to start with. It's a Gear 360 2017. It's the Samsung Gear 360 2017. They knew what they were doing when they were making this phone. Now again, you want a really good example of not good for long-form content, video-wise? Look up after the Samsung keynote for the 2017 for Pocket Now. Forget it. I watched almost all of it, and I loved it. I just think, I'm done within 5 seconds. That's why I just sat there and listened to it 90% of the time, so... I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying it is very... Oh my god, I'm done! After like 5 minutes. So, at least that's what happened with me. Maybe you like it. Maybe you think it's the future. I don't think it's going to be the future. I don't think long-form video content on 360, I've said this before, is good. I don't think it's great. I also don't think you're ever going to watch a movie in 360. Forget it. Like, completely forget it. But yeah. So that's what I'm doing there. And... Oh, what else? What else is there? There's a few different things. I don't know. There's like... What happened? Let's see if there's anything here. What's happening now? Oh, that's the garbage. I don't know if you hear that. My garbage truck. Let me see what I got. Oh yeah, 3D NES games. I think I've talked about that before. You can make like a 3D 360 NES game where you can take it and put it into a 360, and then you put it into like a headset, and you can like look at everything around. It's pretty cool, from what I've heard. Pac-Man's 40th anniversary was like a month ago. Yeah, about a month ago. I don't know much about Pac-Man. I'm not a Pac-Man guy. There's a Neo Geo 30th anniversary. I'm also not a Neo Geo guy, so I don't know about that. Mario Maker 2 updates. I haven't heard anything much about that. There's Atari Casino. Ugh. That seems like a weird thing. Ooh, Google Stadia Pro. Okay, I'm going to say just one thing about the casino. Why Atari? Why Casino? Name with a hotel. They're not the person that you think of when you think of, oh, I'll go to a Atari hotel over like a regular hotel. Like a Nintendo hotel maybe, but like an Atari hotel? I don't know. I'm just saying. Google Stadia Pro free. Okay, you want to know what the problem with Google Stadia is? There's two problems. They thought it was going to be a Netflix of video games, and it wasn't. It definitely wasn't. Which isn't horrible, but you still have to pay for them, because you kind of rent them. It's weird. It's a weird thing, as far as I know. But the other thing is, it's the data that it pulls. So let's say you have 15 terabytes a month, right? Say you have an unlimited, but you can only pull, let's say, 15 terabytes a month. Like, you can't pull, like, a petabyte a month, like every day. But if this thing pulls faster than that, I think something like that. I might be getting these things completely screwed up, but I don't know. But if you pull, like, let's say you have unlimited data, right? You have unlimited data. You're able to use unlimited data. Good, go for it. But the server, or let's say like the ISP, only allows you to pull, let's say, this much out of that. And it's like some crazy number, 15 terabytes or 20 terabytes or something, where it's like, this is crazy. This is absolutely insane. That, okay, is the problem. People have these caps of like, this is not a data cap, right? I don't have a data cap, right? I don't pay for like, say, 250 gigabytes a month. But what I pay for is, I can only do so much. My ISP can only let me do so much, which I understand, but that was a problem with Stadia. Now, apparently, Google Stadia Pro is free, from what I've heard. I mean, hey, good for you. Founder Edition, no, but the controller, it's okay. It's kind of a mix between like a PS2, 3, like a PlayStation DualShock and an Xbox One controller, an Xbox 360 controller, kind of in that realm, which I never liked either of those, really. My favorite controller is the N64 controller, because look, I have a PS3 controller right here, right? And personally, it's okay, because I like the 2. It's basically a 2 with gyroscopic and wireless. Like, that's what I like about it. It's wireless. Unlike, what's it called, which is not wireless, the PS2. But I have a PS2 to USB adapter, so I can use it on either my computer or my PS3, which I like, so I can have a second controller. But I just don't like this controller very much. This controller is not great. I mean, it's decent, don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying it's not great for being a great controller. Like, I don't like it. I like the N64 controller a lot more. Like, somebody made, like, whenever people make, like, all these videos on, like, the best controller, my favorite controller, and I'm like, great. I understand why you like the PS1 through 4 controller. I see why you like the Xbox 360, Xbox One controller. Even the original Xbox, the Duke, I've held one, and I went, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. And then the redesign is pretty good, too. The S, the Slim, whatever they called it. And then, they go, the GameCube for Nintendo, and I go, or the NES. Hate the NES controller, digs into my hand, don't like it, it's not good. And Super Nintendo controller, bad. Very bad, stupid, horrible, dumb, because I think it's flimsy as frick. It's a great controller. I love the feel of it. So I like the dog boat controller for the NES, if you get the top loader. But what I don't like is the fact that it's just so flimsy. The GameCube N64, NES, no, Super Nintendo controller. Super Nintendo controller is too flimsy. I can like creaky. You can chuck a freaking NES controller across the room multiple times and nothing would happen. You chuck it on the ground once and something will not work properly. On the Super Nintendo controller. And then you get to the N64, and I think that's the perfect controller. Well, it's not the perfect controller. GameCube's the perfect controller. It's a great controller. My favorite, though, is the N64 controller, just because I think probably nostalgia. I'll probably take off my nostalgia goggles and see this is a terrible controller. But I think it's a decent controller. Once you get past the fact that everybody who ever opens one will always be like, or holds one for the first time, goes, no, I cannot figure out where the heck to put my hand. Because people do this. Do I have one? I have one. It's over here. I think it's over here. Let me see. Yeah, right here. Okay. People do this with their controller. If I can get the controller out. They do this. Look. Wait, where is it? I'm gonna grab it. It'd be nice for this illustration to get my controller out. Ow. Here. Look. Okay, so they have this. Look. This is a problem that everyone has every time the first time they hold a controller. They do this. They do this. So the controller looks like this, okay? Now, it's not the weirdest looking controller. I've seen weirder controllers. But, like, the, like, weird Jaguar, the Atari Jaguar, where it's humongous and, like, 50 buttons, like, 3 you ever use. Anyway. But they do this all the time. They're holding the controller, and they do this. They go like, okay, I get the D-pad thing. I get the one side thing, right? But what do I do with the middle? Can I do like... And I see people like this, too. Like this, with their like middle finger. Like this. I'm like, why? I've even seen people do this. They do this. Or this, sorry, this. Like this. Where they hold the controller like this. I'm like, why? How do you not figure out? Grab it. You've grabbed the other two perfectly fine. Like this and like this. Oh, by the way, I love this controller. I got it when I first got the system, because I got it from my cousin, the system, and I got this one. Because I got the Jungle Green controller, and then I got Jungle Green system with the Jungle Green controller and this what is it, like purple, something purple, I don't remember what it's called, like jazz purple or like, anyway. Love, these are so cool. Anyway, so you're like holding it, and like you figured out the other two sides perfectly. Like you're like, okay, I gotta hold it like this and like this. You didn't try and do that with this though, because you're like, come on, it's not that hard. Anyway, if you get past that part and people figure out how to use it, actually one of my favorite controllers, because it is my favorite controller because it's just so cool. And this thing, okay, fine. At that point, you should have ditched, like, altogether and just put completely the memory card, the whole thing, because the PS1 had it and the PS2. But, I mean, I'm not saying that it's the perfect solution, but I think it's decent. But I don't like how the memory... Okay, Nintendo should have gave you a Rumble Pack memory card combo or let you put in the memory card. They didn't. So, therefore, everyone's like, oh, no, you know? Not that it's a bad thing. Now, I came onto the internet, like I Googled Stadia controller looking. It looks like this. And it's basically just a PS3 controller that looks like an Xbox controller. It just basically looks like a PlayStation DualShock. Come on. They're modeling it off to the DualShock. You know, don't even try with me. They're modeling it off the DualShock. Not. Because the whole thing is, like, it basically, okay, you want me to be honest with you? It looks like a PS4 controller, or PS5 controller. From what I've heard of the PS5 controller, it is a chunky... Well, actually, I don't know about the size, but I know it looks basically like a Stadia controller. So it's a PS5 controller. Let me check what it looks like. Also, the PS5 looks like a freaking weird, like, I don't even know what it is. Yeah, it looks bizarre. Yeah, see, look at the PS5. Look at this PS5 controller. No, not this one. It's fake. These are all fake. All fake. No, dang it. No. There. Let me look it up. Let me get it for it. PS5 controller. What does it look like? It looks like... No, 5 controller. 5 controller. Where's a real 5? There you go. This. It basically looks like a weirdly, like, lopsided, like, Xbox, Stadia, sorry, Google Stadia controller. I mean, it doesn't look awful, but it looks bizarre. Those are the two sticks at the bottom there, the black things, and then it's like, people don't like it. A lot of people don't like it, but I don't think it looks that bad. I mean, it's fine. I think they should get rid of the touch, whatever. I think that's stupid. The touchpad thing at the front of it. How many games utilized it? Probably, like, very little. So therefore, I'm sorry, I don't care, I don't want it, I never used it, I don't have one, but the, like, 2 times I ever played PlayStation 4, and the people that I know who have PlayStation 4s, they just have this, like, no, this is stupid, I don't see the point, which, I mean, I understand, don't get me wrong, I understand, like, I don't see the point either, but... The thing with Nintendo is people gripe on Nintendo and being like, whatever. But at least Nintendo is consistently making cool-looking, different-looking controllers. This is the inside of no, not a power pack. What is it called? Memory pack. Well, this one's called memory card because I think it's third party, but they call it a memory pack, I think. So that's cool. Look, there's a chip, right? There's a little chip, and then there's like a bunch of like resistors and capacitors and stuff, and then this is just a battery back on the back. Battery back on the back. If I take that out, I think I would lose all my save data, but that's okay. I don't have much on here. I mean, I have everything, but again, everything is what? Some Pokemon Snap and some Pokemon Stadium and some, maybe they'll actually save on the cart. I'm not sure. And some Tony Hawk Pro Skater. I think. I don't know if any of those actually save on the cart. I don't actually, to be honest with you. But that's the thing too about that at that point. They should have just gone completely to this, because people at that point were like, well, do I save on a cart? Do I save on a controller, or do I like in the memory card, or am I saving with freaking passwords still? Like, am I still doing passwords? Like, things like Gex 3D, I think, or 64 or something like that, still used like passwords. Yet there were games like Ocarina of Time that saved on the cart. Yet there were games like Diddy Kong Racing, which you have to use the pack, and like it was just bizarre. And these are like Nintendo games too. Sometimes where they're inconsistent. Oh gosh, more people are talking. People are talking. Sorry, like they're loud in the background. Anyway, sorry. But yeah. So I mean, personally, don't know much about the PS5. The only thing that might entice me to buy a PS5 instead of an Xbox One X or Series X, whatever they're gonna call it, which is stupid name. They've had the worst naming. At least PlayStation has been consistent in saying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, so on and so forth. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and so on and so forth. Anyway, right? The only thing that would entice me to maybe buy one is if we know for a fact we can play all previous PlayStation games. Like it's backwards compatible with all previous PlayStation games. Because heck, man, I buy it to play my PS1, PS2, PS3, and I get some PS4 games. Because I don't have PS4 games right now because I don't have a PS4. But I would buy some, like things like maybe I didn't buy GTA 5 on PS4, but I'd buy things like Spider-Man on PS4, like, and then play it on PS5. Like, that's the only thing I could say that would entice me to buy a PS5 over like a Xbox Series X. But the problem, the thing is, I'd still buy a over that. I'd still buy a I'd still buy a over that. I still buy a Switch over that. Or even better, I still buy a PC. I'm looking to get a PC, right? Because I'm really wanting to do a lot of like video editing and gaming and stuff. And my friend, I asked somebody like who knows a little bit about computers, and he goes, "Yeah, just get a computer because you can do most of the gaming you want to do on a computer, and the few games that you want to do on a Switch, get it in the future once you have money." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know. PCs are just better," he said, for all around usability. Like I can even emulate old systems on it. I can capture old systems in. I can do this. I can do that. I can do a lot of different things with it. In comparison to like having to like fiddle around with all these other things like video game systems, which is fine. I'm just saying I don't particularly think that I need anything else. I mean, I do. Don't get me wrong, but I want to Switch, obviously. I want to play, Mario Odyssey, Breath of the Wild, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Mario Maker 2, but also I don't want to spend $400 on one. It's $400 in Canada, here in Canada. So for me, I'm like, that's a lot. But it's not that bad, but it's just a lot. I paid $150 for my PS3 used, and then I paid for my brand new. The last brand new system I bought was a well, I was gonna say the Wii, but actually I bought a I bought a 3DS for $200, brand new. So I didn't pay $250 or $30, whatever it was. I also didn't get one when it was like afterwards, when it was cheaper. My brother bought a cheaper bundle for he has a Ocarina of Time Zelda model, and I'm like, it's okay. I looked at it. It looks weird because it's just just little like lacy crap on the sides. Like it's bad. Anyway, so you got his for $180, $190, something like that. So we paid significantly less. Well, not too much, but yes. I paid that. And then for my Wii before that, I paid $218, I think it was. And then, like, substantially, month by month, it went down like $10, to the point where you could have bought one. I'm not joking. Brand new, $60, Toys R Us. By the way, Toys R Us in Canada is still up. In America, long gone, but in Canada, it's still going strong. Anyway, and they've also made like these weird small mall shops. Anyway, like pop-up kind of shops. Anyway, so you could have bought one. You walked into Toys R Us, bought one, I think 2013, I believe, or maybe even 14. I don't remember, but you could walk into a Toys R Us and get a Wii, $60 plus a controller. That's pretty good, and a nunchuck. Like, that's pretty good. And the Wii Sports, obviously. And then you could buy like a $40 freaking Wii Play with another controller. I mean, look! Don't get me wrong. It's not the greatest price, but like it's in bargain bins for like nothing now. But the thing is, if you could have bought it for less, I mean, obviously it's years later too. If you want it, you had to wait years. But if you want one, you can get it for nothing. But at that time, if you wanted one, I mean, you're paying less than most people paid for just the Wii. You're paying less for a Wii and Wii Play and 2 controllers and a nunchuck than you would that most people paid for just the controller. Oh, sorry, just the Wii. So I mean, hey, But now it's in bargain bins for like $20, $10 plus like a stack of games. I think my friend paid like $20 or $30, maybe $40, and a stack of games and 2 controllers and 2 nunchucks. Like stack. I'm talking stack. Like 10 games. I'm like, wow, really? But again, it was like almost 10 years later, so I'm just like, whatever. I was like, So I'm not gonna wait 10 years, but I mean, I literally if I waited like 6 months, if I bought it in like, let's say spring, because I bought it in 2008 for $219. And if I waited till the spring of 2009, I would have paid literally almost half the price. It's incredible, crazy. So I'm waiting for the Wii U to get to that point because it's still sitting at it somehow holds its value at like 200, 250, 300, 190, 180. And if you want to get just the two, like the game, like the system and then the gamepad separately, they're like 80 and 80, or like 100 and then 80, and then like 50 and 100, and it's like, why? What makes the thing so usable? It's because it's not 10. It's not old enough. Because I see things go like this, especially with video games. It goes on the shelves. It's whatever price it went for, right? Then it goes, okay, it's not produced anymore, so it's going to start going down. And this is years later. This is usually for systems. For systems, doesn't really usually go. Takes a while. After it's completely gone off shelves. The game's a little less, and then, okay, now it's old and I want it again. We're not at the point where it's at that, it's not being sold anymore and nobody wants it. It's still in that, it's only been a few years after it's done. So wait, 2 more years, 3 more years, so 5 years after it's done. And we'll start seeing it in, at flea markets, swap meets, bargain bins, and, charity shops, thrift stores, Goodwills, Value Village, Village de Villar, Renaissances. That's what's going to happen. It's literally going to be in bargain bins, collecting dust. They can't pay you to take it for $20. And stacks of games. But the games, that's it. Games, not really. They didn't really hold the same value. It's strange, but hey. Anyway, I'm not going to go there in the whole, I think the Wii U should be priced at $100 right now with 1 controller. That's it. Don't give me a whole bunch of other things. The games can stay at the prices they are. But if, maybe $150 with a few games. I don't know. Depends. Maybe 2 controllers. I don't know. But I'm saying don't keep it at the $200, $250, $300 range. It's why? No, I'm not going to go there. Anyway, that's just my opinion. And I think the Wii U should be cheaper. But even if you get them at, EB Games, which is our Canadian best GameStop, because basically, I think GameStop, Electronic Bay Games or something, or I don't know what it stands for. But anyway, EB Games, maybe it's a name, like Edgar and Benson, I don't know. Eddie and Benson, I don't know. But I'm just saying, Ed and Benson, I don't know. But I'm saying, that's Canada, because we don't have a GameStop at least not Quebec. In Ontario, there's a GameStop, which the only thing I've ever bought at GameStop ever in my life was a PS2 memory card, and it worked fine. It was decent. Anyway, Yeah, so that's basically Quebec's GameStop, and EB Games sells them. At least this is like 2 years ago. I think sells them for, or 3 years ago. I think it's still $250 or $219, $220, $230. It's expensive for a freaking. But then if you have their weird platinum membership crap, ultra platinum whoopity doo membership, it's not that expensive, but it's like useless because you're never gonna use it. I had my dad had the dang thing back when I was a kid, and he was just like, "Do I use it? I'm paying for something. I'm getting a card and I'm paying for something that I don't use. What? Why? Why? But we barely ever use." I'm like, "Yeah, I know. That's just a crazy thing." But anyway, I'm not saying it's horrible, but I'm just saying it's kind of a little. Anyway, with that like weird VIP membership thing, it's like I think 200 or like 170 or something instead of 200 or something. I don't know. It's bizarre. It don't work. I think it's weird. I don't like their pricing, but hey. And the PS3, I believe, was 180 for a 80 gig, I think. So something like that. And I'm like, for a PS3, slim, super slim. I want the original one day. I want to sell mine and get an original one, but I just got a hard drive for mine. So, I'm going to be able to play Grand Theft Auto because mine had like it had like 12 gigs or something. And the thing takes like 64 gigs. It's crazy. I bought like a 256 or 128 hard drive. So, hey, look, I don't really care. I'm just saying like, don't have like, the minimum that anybody should sell anything for is 16. For devices. Now, to get something like SD cards, sure. If you don't need SD cards and you're just needing like all you need is like, I just need it for like a Raspberry Pi or something, then yeah, you can go with 2 gigs, 4 gigs, 8 gigs, But don't give me a hard drive or a phone with like 16 gigs or 8 gigs. Like, it's stupid. For that, it should be 64 for, like, a phone. But then, for, like, other devices, maybe 32. Like, 16 is passable, but at that point, you start going, but I don't like when it's 16 gigs, because 16 gigs is too small to do anything. My iPhone 3 was a 16 gig iPhone 3, and I barely would pass off any music on it. For, like, a year and a half or almost 2 years, I had zero music on it because everything else took up way too much space. Just way too much space. I remember how bad it got, that phone. That phone is virtually unusable. I think the battery just shot. So I think that's what causing it to be bad. Anyway, it's not that bad. I mean, I could replace the battery, but, I mean, I don't know. Anyway, there's that. And then there's, like, I think 16 is just barely passable. Because that's the thing. There's a 16 or 6, because the next one I got was a iPhone SE, the original SE, not the new one. And there was either 16 or 64. There was no 32. And 64, I ran out of space in a 64. Okay. You want to know something? Okay, want to know something great? I got a Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge, right? I put a 128 gig SD card in it. I still needed more space. I was like, holy crow! That's why I'm going to buy a terabyte of micro SD card one day and just plop it in a phone and be like, done. Problem solved. Which is not because it doesn't do everything. But it would let me at least do some stuff better. So, yeah. I mean, I'm not saying that you shouldn't sell 16 gig stuff. You could. I'm just saying. Okay. Anyway, I'm not. Yeah, you can for like SD cards or like smaller than 16 gigs for like SD cards and stuff. If you're like making a Raspberry Pi or making like a Arduino or I don't know these things that use like 2 gigs is fine enough for me. Or like if you're making a Raspberry Pi with Picade, with RetroPie, Picade, and like and you're gonna put every video game up until like PS1. And you don't go to PS1, but you're like N64. Sorry, there was a cut there. I don't know what happened there. But yes. I think because it's disconnected from my phone. Anyway. Oh, wow. If you're going to get a PS, like that way, in the whole, like, if you're going to make a Raspberry Pi with everything, like, with every game up until, like, N64, you don't need more than 16 gigs, I'm sure. You don't need more than 8 gigs, I'm sure. You probably don't even need more than 4 gigs. If you're going to go, like, Odyssey to N64, and it's everything in that generation, in that era, you probably don't need more than, like, 8 gigs. I'm talking everything. Odyssey. Yeah, so, I mean, if you're talking to, like, a, what's it called? An SD card, yeah, sure, go smaller than that. But I'm saying, like, a phone should not have less than, like, 32, maybe? 64 gigs of storage. But, because my phone, the Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge, has 32 gigs. And I ran out of it, like this. Like it's gone. Like it's just... That's so weird. Look at that. It's like too close to the camera, and then boom. Like too close. I don't know. Anyway. But yeah. Yeah, so, I don't know. That's my opinion on, like, SD cards and, like, that kind of stuff. So, which is why I think that all the original phones... okay. The iPhone 3... the iPhone 2, which had... what was it, 2 gigs or 4 gigs? 4 gigs of space, I think, maybe? Stupid. The iPod Shuffle, the only one that they sell, I think they still sell that anyway now, Apple, anyway, is a mere 2 gigs. It's disgusting. It's 2 gigs. And then the iPhone 5C, which was touted as the, like, which was called the 5 crap, or 5 cheap, was bothering me. Was like less than that. It was like you could get 8 gig ones or 12 gig ones, something like that. It was stupid. Why? I didn't understand it. I thought it was stupid. But hey, they're Apple. You can make a 1 gig thing for $1 billion, and the Apple fanboys would still buy it. Hardcore Apple fans would still buy it. So don't get me started on the whole Apple thing, though. But they're crap. The only reason they're crap is because they don't care about your people. They really don't. They're just like, I don't care. I just don't give a damn. Just give me whatever. It's like, oh, no offense, but Apple, you made a what, $1,000 monitor stand for your Apple iMac Pro? Really? That's too much. You paid what, $700 for a freaking pair of 4 wheels for your Mac Pro? I think that's ridiculous. But hey, you're Apple, and people will still buy it, so I'm not gonna go there. But yeah, personally, don't like Apple. Sorry. Watch the documentary Man in the Machine. Steve Jobs, Man in the Machine. If you can find it somewhere. I think it was on YouTube for a while. It's not on YouTube currently at the moment from what I could see. CNN probably has it somewhere where you could probably buy it, maybe. I'm not sure how CNN works with their, like, documentaries and stuff. You could probably view it somewhere. I think it's one of the best documentaries to explain the fact, or to show the history of Steve Jobs and how much of an a-hole he was. He was the biggest a-hole to work for, ever. But anyway, that's just my opinion. I hate him. But that's not the reason I don't like Apple. I think Apple just, they charge too much for too little. That's it. So, that's just my opinion. But yeah. So, yeah, so. Yeah. And I think, Nintendo is the Apple of even though I love Nintendo is the Apple of video games. Because just look at this, right? And look at how, like, well, okay. I'm not saying in price-wise, I'm saying in this, like, the way they run-wise. Because this is decent, right? This little thing is decent, right? But then you look at it and yes, but if you go for price, yeah, the PS3 was like, what, $600? And they still had a loss on, they still lost money on it? Crazy, huh? But then you go to, like, at the time, what would have been the Wii, right? And the Wii was only, like, what, $300 when it came out? So, like, half, or $250, something like that, so. But I'm not saying, look at the PSP, okay? And then look at the DS that came out at the same time, right? The PSP is incredibly well built. The DS, not so much. And the DS, not so much. It's not built well in terms of build quality and like everything about it. And the crap, like the build quality and like the quality of like the graphics and all that, it's like subpar. It's like legitimately like GameCube and Super Nintendo levels of, or sorry, Super N64 levels of stuff. The DS, but they're Nintendo, so they know how to make good games. This never caught on because in the same way because it was never one of the most well sold video game products ever. Highest selling video game products ever, because unlike the even although the PS2 was because personally I think it was because it tried to be more than it was before anybody was ready. So it tried to be the 3DS before 3DS, which basically it tried to be tried to be like an internet device and a camera with. I have the camera right here actually. I don't know if you can see it. It's a camera add-on. And try to be a DVD player, and try to be a video game system, and try to be a podcast, and stream music, and listen to music, like download music, and download movies, and download books, and download comics, and download. It did a lot. Like, it just did a lot. And it did it really. Well, it did it really subpar, because, like, really, it didn't do anything that was, like, great. So, really, I think it did too much too early. No, the quality of the graphics are so much better than the DS. But the thing with the DS is, it was Nintendo, so Nintendo knows how to make a good system, and even if the system is no good, right, build quality wise and all that, it's better. Games make the system. It really makes the system. It doesn't need to be a good system. It always outdid everybody in everything, whether that was Sega, Sony, Microsoft, anybody trying to make video game systems and games now, it always outdid them. Atari, it outdid everybody because they knew how to make good games to play. People want to play Nintendo games. You don't pull out a PS2 game and go, I need to play Grand Theft Auto Vice City, even though that's a good game. In comparison to, I need to play Mario or Mario 1 on, like, Super Mario Bros. On NES. Like, you'll pull that out some way, somehow, whether that's through your real Nintendo Entertainment System or through, like, through your emulator or whatnot. Oh, yeah, a little water left. Or whatnot, you know what I'm saying? Or whatever you really grew up with. The resurgence now is the N64 GameCube stuff. The GameCube is about where people are coming out, because now people in the GameCube era are like, they're like between 15 and 30. So like, oh, I'm nostalgic for this now. Okay. More the N64, because the N64 people are now like 30, 35, years old, 25, 30 years old. So between 20 and 40. So I was like, oh yeah, I love it. I want one now. I have N64, and I love it. It's my favorite system ever. But I don't know, because it's being outdone by stuff like the PS3, because I really like the PS3. A lot of people crap on the PS3. They shat all over the PS3. But it was really not a bad system. I mean, it wasn't. Let me read you something somebody said to me on my Discord. By the way, if you don't know, I have a Discord link in the description. I have a Discord, right? And my Discord, let me just get the comments. It was basically saying something like, they crap all over really shat all over the, oh, I forgot to turn this off, sorry. Might heard my air conditioner. Over it. But it's really a decent game. It's a decent game system, so. See, that's good. A lot of people shat on the PS3, but it's honestly such a great console. And I went, yeah, I love it. I play mostly Skate 3, and he's like, that's a great game. Yep. I beat Uncharted 2. Nice. Okay, we're getting to the conversation, but like, what I'm saying is like, you got to the point of like, it's really a good system. Like, it's not particularly great in any means, but it's actually not the worst. It's not the absolute worst system. It's great, but I personally like it. I like the PS2 better because I had one as a kid. I didn't have a PS3 as a kid, so for me, because that was the thing. I've already told this story before, but I've told the story before. PS3 was, or the PS3 and the Wii were the things that I was like debating. Oh my god, this is bothering me so much. Debating getting, which is surprising because the Xbox 360 wasn't even a glimmer in my eye. It wasn't even a twinkle. It wasn't even a dust in my thoughts. I wasn't even like maybe no, not even close. Which hey, that's fine. But I'm just saying like that just was not me. No, not at all. I didn't even think of it. Like I knew it existed and I knew it was an option. I just didn't want one. So I was like, and then my dad was like, "What do you want?" And I'm like, PS3. PS3 that can play PS2 games. Done. And this is 2008, okay? Or 7, I'm not even sure. And then by by October, so by, Thanksgiving, because Canadian Thanksgiving is 6 weeks earlier than American Thanksgiving. It's October, it's like the first Monday or second Monday of October. Anyway, I think it's second or first, I don't know. Anyway, I'm not good at dates for that holiday. I don't know, it's just not a holiday I remember. Anyway, but like, right? And so, I got one then, 2008, Thanksgiving 2008. Because you know how like they have like Black Friday deals? Well, here in Canada they have Black Friday deals, but they have like even more, because they go back all the way to like freaking Thanksgiving. It's crazy. Anyway, so then you get that like, so I got it. I never looked back since. I loved it, but like, yeah. I basically like, no, I'm like, I want a PS3, and then I was like, no, Wii, and then I got a Wii, and I love it, and I never looked back since. So that's just my thoughts on the whole thing. So yeah, I think that'll be it for now, guys. So again, tell me what to do with this camera here, which is a 360 camera. Tell me what to do with my podcast, my YouTube channel, just anything, please. What I should play, what games I can play, what this, that, the other thing. And then, yeah, so please tell me. I need help, lots and lots of help. I'm probably going to go live more. I'm going to try and go live more, like almost every day. What else? I personally think lives are okay. Like, I don't know much about lives. Lives aren't the greatest, but they're decent. I like Instagram Live because it doesn't have as bad a content problem, like a copyright problem. But YouTube's copyright, again, watch Tom Scott's video on YouTube copyright. It's not bad. There's nothing wrong with it. But, yeah, so, if you want to get in touch with me, I've got a link in the description for my email, which is tacoimposters@gmail.com. I have a Discord and a Patreon down in the description. Please support me on Patreon. If you want to see better content, please support me on Patreon. And then there's, what else? I think that's about it, so I think that'll be it for now, guys. So, adios, mi amigos.